Welcome to Capricorn season 2024. The sun moves into Capricorn on December 22nd. And this Capricorn season is different. It provides an opportunity that is much deeper and greater and more life-changing than other Capricorn seasons. Why do I say this? This Capricorn season is different because Pluto has officially left Capricorn. Now, Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It is the planet of our personal power and how we step into power. And with Pluto, how you step into power is by releasing control, by facing trauma, by transmuting trauma and alchemizing trauma, AKA alchemizing your deepest, biggest fears, alchemizing even your triggers, those triggers where we just want to get mad at other people. It's alchemizing that and taking responsibility for it so that you can fully step into power. Because here's the thing, Pluto is about death. And when you face death, and you live to tell the tale, and you don't just live, but you find lessons. And because you found the lesson in that death, you know you will never be able to be killed in that way again. Because when you face death and life is fine and you lived, you become immortal, you become unstoppable. And the thing with Pluto having been in Capricorn over these last 15 years or so is that it's been bringing up a lot of the shadows, the triggers, the trauma around Capricorn energy. We're going to talk about Capricorn in a second and what that means for you because every single person has Capricorn in their birth chart. You have Capricorn ruling a certain area of your life. This energy plays out within you and it either blocks you from reaching your goals or it assists you in reaching your goals and you really anchoring into and owning your power as an authority. That is a high expression of Capricorn. So again, we'll get back to that in a little bit. We're going to back up a little bit with Pluto. So whenever Pluto leaves a sign, we've gone through all the tumultuous Pluto, dig up all the yucky feelings type energy so we can transmute it into our power. Now that Pluto is out of that sign, what we usually see over those first 3 years after Pluto leaves a sign is all of the gifts come. So all the truths that were revealed, we transmute into more power. All of the shadows that we dealt with, we're transmuting into our power. And what is power? Power is leverage. Power comes from you not needing to overextend your life force energy and control and do a million different things, because that's what we do when we control. That's the low vibe of Pluto. It's the low vibe of power. It's not true power. We think control is power, and control is complicated because control means we have to control every little thing that happens. It's exhausting. And yes, it can reach certain goals and achieve certain things, but it's a lot harder. And you want to know what it brings? Resentment. Because we are not truly in our power when we control. And because we don't have true power and when we control, we overextend ourselves and then we resent the fact that we have to overextend ourselves because we're not meant to. You are an all-powerful being. You are meant to be in your power, not in your control. So power comes from surrender. Power comes from leverage. You know, Pluto is about investments. We could grow your money from you investing you can invest $1 and you could grow that dollar into $1 million in the stock market. Whereas if you got a job and you were making all this money without combining it with other resources and you were just trying to control and scrap your way there, that would be a lot more exhausting. So power requires leverage. Power requires ease. Power requires surrender. And we surrender on the other side of us facing a trauma, facing a fear, facing a shadow, and learning the lesson from it. So over these next 3 years, what this means for you, because we're here for you, boo, is it means that we have an opportunity to get to the highest expression of Capricorn energy and surrender into the highest expression of Capricorn energy. So, in addition to us getting all of Pluto's gifts over these next 3 years, the North Node is moving into Pisces this Capricorn season on January 12th. It's moving into Pisces while we're in Capricorn season. Pisces is the sign of surrender. The North Node is a collective destiny point. Whenever the node changes signs, the world starts moving towards that energy. A few years ago, the North Node was in Taurus, and we all started being obsessed with getting back to nature and farming and homesteading and getting your feet in the grass. Those are all Taurus things. We got obsessed with that when the North Node was in Taurus. These last 2 years, the North Node has been in Aries. And so we've been obsessed about owning who we are, releasing other people, releasing relationships, and coming into who we are, owning what we want, being bold, being courageous about ourselves. And now we are moving towards Pisces energy, which is unconditional love. And unconditional love feeds into the surrender that is Pisces. Because when we recognize that all of life is love, the foundation of life is love, and we act from love, we can live surrendered. Because in this universe, like attracts like. That is how manifestation works. And if we live our life from love, we will attract more love. The shadow side of Pisces is fear and self-sabotaging behaviors. So if we live our life from fear and self-sabotaging behaviors, Pisces, that will bring more of that in. That is how Pisces energy is also self-sabotaging, because Pisces is the last zodiac sign of all of the signs. It knows what all the signs have been through. And so Pisces is connected to every possibility that could ever exist, limitless possibilities. And that could bring it into love in a surrendered way of living, or it could bring it into fear and sabotaging itself because of all of its fear. So because the North Node is moving into Pisces this Capricorn season, as we had just left Pluto in Capricorn, now we're collectively moving towards this deep sign of surrender. And I told you, all of Pluto's power comes from surrendering control. Do you see where I'm going? Do you see how this all ties in? Why this is a special Capricorn season? Because we are in the Capricorn energy. And the lowest vibration of Capricorn energy is your inner critic. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Big surprise there. Saturn is about the same things that Capricorn is about. If you've heard of your Saturn return and how that's a big maturation phase, a phase when you're really coming into yourself, it's a phase of a lot of growth and can be super uncomfortable for a lot of people. Usually people are not the same after their Saturn return. That is ages like 27 to 31. The reason being is because Saturn matures you. It makes you put certain work in to own your authority, own your power, and build a legacy, build a reputation, build a career here on Earth. You know, help build something. We're here to create. And because we're in this material plane, we need to create materially. We need to create certain structures, you know? Pisces energy is the exact opposite. Pisces has no structures. It has no boundaries. It literally will float in life. It will just float along in life. Unfortunately, that could work in the spirit realms, but it doesn't work so much in the material realm because material Earth has to move down here. And so Saturn, Capricorn, this is an Earth energy. Capricorn's an Earth sign. Saturn rules it. Saturn provides the structure to help build in this material world. But the thing is that humans tend to go to extremes, and we tend to be like all Saturn energy and then none of the Pisces flow surrendered energy, right? And so that's when we get into the lower vibration of a sign. We're always in the lower vibration of an energy when we're in the extreme of it, and we get to the highest vibration of a sign by balancing it with its opposite zodiac sign. So the opposite zodiac sign of Capricorn is Cancer. And what is Cancer about? Cancer is mothering energy. Cancer is connected to its intuition, to love, to nurturing, to safety. It's connected to your ancestry. Actually, Cancer is connected to the people as a whole, whereas Saturn is not warm and loving and nurturing and motherly like Cancer. Saturn and Capricorn, so Capricorn is more of like that grandparent, strict, authoritative energy. It is rather cold. So Capricorn's this energy of fuck your feelings, just keep trekking on, just keep going, just reach all of your goals, get to the top of the mountain. You want to know who I see says this all the time, and it's pretty ironic because she's a Cancer. Leila Hormuz, she is a business guru. I don't know if you've heard of her. You could Google her and you'll see a bunch of things about her. She is like my age. She's 30 and she has $100 million business. And she says all the time, like, fuck your feelings, just get to work. And I see how she diets and eats and feeds herself, and she does the same thing with her diet and her food. She's very strict. She's like, no, you can't listen to your body. You have to be on this diet. And no shame on her. She is so successful, and I look up to her in so many different ways. This is one way in which, though, I see her in toxic Capricorn energy, where she says, fuck your feelings, is she is definitely not a healthy dieter. If you listen to me, you know that I have 20 years experience in eating disorders and getting my degree in nutrition, getting my degree in giving lab exams for nutrition. I've gone through my own transformation in nutrition. I used to be a diet fanatic. I used to control everything, what I ate, how I moved my body, all those different things. And once I found intuitive eating, I found freedom, and I actually am healthy, and I'm actually happy, and I actually have good health, way better health than when I controlled the shit out of my diet and how many calories I ate and all these different things. So I see her. She preaches to everyone in your business. You have to fuck your feelings and just go. It doesn't matter how you feel any freaking way. And she does the same thing with her food. She literally takes diet popcorn seasoning and she puts it on her salads to save calories. You can't fucking be happy when you do that. I don't think she's happy. I don't. I can't buy it. Because if you are just living in structured coldness, if you are living disconnected from your heart, disconnecting from motherly energy, that is what Cancer is about. That is what your emotions are. Your emotions teach you what love you need. Your intuition guides you into lessons to learn about love. It doesn't always guide you into really easy, amazing situations. Why? Because you're not going to learn lessons about love if everything is easy in love. And so, back to Capricorn, Capricorn is structure, it is discipline. It can be rather cold because it can be rather fuck your feelings. And it causes blocks. So this is why Capricorn and Saturn energy inherently blocks us. It's because it is the sign of our inner critic. And so we will criticize ourselves into responsibility. And that is one way Saturn blocks itself, because when we criticize ourselves into being responsible and we should on ourselves, we end up living a life not in alignment with our intuition, not in alignment with our heart. That's Cancer energy. Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon is our soul, our heart. And when we do that, we chase goals and we keep chasing them and we never get happy. Why? Because like attracts like. I said that in the beginning of this episode. I read a book series, A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's a fairy book, it's a fantasy book, but all throughout it, they always talked about, like, within the fairy folklore, like calls to like. So in this book series I'm reading, one of the girls got turned into a fairy in a cauldron, and it was more of this dark death energy that she got turned into. And so throughout the book series, she ends up being able to be the only one who can hear other things made by that cauldron, or other things that are dark like her, other things related to death like her. Like, no one else can hear these things, but she can, because she was made by the cauldron, and the cauldron made her this like death energy, basically. And so all throughout the book series, they're like calls to like. Every time she could hear that dark voice, anytime a new development happened and she found something that other people couldn't see, it's like calls to like. It's like that here. It's like that here on Earth. Like calls to like. When you criticize yourself and you do things out of should, you create more of that. That's why people are, that's discipline. Discipline is actually a self-sabotaging behavior, and that's what I believe we're going to learn over the next few years, and why this Capricorn season is special, because we're having a giant block in the middle of this Capricorn season. Saturn in Pisces is going to square Jupiter in Gemini. This is round 2. We had round 1 in August. So if you felt blocked in August, it's round 2. And it's because Saturn is trying to teach us a lesson about our energy and what we truly have energy for. And it's trying to teach us, are you doing things because of your inner critic, or are you doing things out of love, out of alignment with your energy, out of devotion? That is the highest expression of Capricorn energy. It is devotion. Devotion is similar to discipline, where you stay committed to something, but you stay committed out of love, not obligation, not need to, not have to. Whereas the lowest vibration of Capricorn energy is being cold and just being disciplined and fuck your feelings and keep going. And then you never feel good because like attracts like. So, example of devotion, if you think of a couple, I think about me and Ryan, for example. We've been together for 7 years. We've had our ups and downs in our relationship, but we have a really solid, good relationship. We are devoted to one another. We give to one another. We've given consistently to one another over the last 7 years. We've grown with one another, but there are moments where we get really pissed at one another. But because we're devoted to one another, we're willing to work through it, not because we have to. We don't have to do anything. We're willing to figure out how to back into balance and harmony because we're willing to learn lessons about ourselves so that we can come back into balance and harmony. We're willing to heal things within ourselves so that we can stay committed to one another. It's not discipline. If I was disciplined in my relationship with Ryan, it wouldn't be going into these deep, heartfelt conversations. It would be like that couple that just coexists and they barely talk and they're just friends and they just stay together out of comfort because now they have a relationship. But you look at them and you're like, they should not be together. Like it's a cold, yucky energy when you look at them, right? We all know that disciplined couple versus a devoted couple. Devotion extends to every other area of your life. And that's one of the things Saturn in Pisces is teaching us right now. Remember, Saturn is Capricorn energy, but Pisces is a mirror. Pisces shows us that as within, so without, like attracts like. If you are building your legacy, if you're building your reputation, if you're building your career from over responsibility and criticizing yourself, and you have to do this, that mirror is constantly being reflected outside of you. You can end up building this business, but you're not going to be happy because it doesn't mean you can't be successful living from discipline, but it does mean that you'll live a Saturnian, cold, disciplined life, and then you'll be climbing to the next mountain immediately because you're chasing a feeling that you're not allowing yourself to have. Like calls to like. Saturn in Pisces is teaching us. And that's what that square that's happening around Christmas during Capricorn season is teaching us. We want to grow and expand. We want to have these new experiences in our life. We want to live a life in alignment with our truth. We want to start thinking in alignment with our truth. But the block is, do you keep trying to create that future vision from discipline? Or are you allowing yourself to surrender into what your energy actually has energy for? Are you allowing yourself to go into devotion and love in your life and really asking yourself what feels like love today? And you want to know what? Sometimes what feels like love today is the exact opposite of what Saturn energy, the disciplined version of you, because we've all been trained to be disciplined. That's where we're at in society and at least in America right now. We've been trained to be disciplined. So maybe what's love for you one day is to not work. Maybe you're freaking exhausted and you need to give yourself that space. That would be devotion. Devotion is a deep surrender and trust on your journey to reaching your goals. I watched a movie the other day. I forget what it's called. It was like The Fun Couple. Maybe that's what it was called. And it's about these two couples that went on a vacation. One couple was like this prim and proper, follow all the rules, very Capricorn energy couple. The other couple, oh my God, they're freaking wild and crazy. They were like party animals, like causing chaos all over the place. Yeah, they were just chaos party makers. Kind of like Uranian, Sagittarian energy. So they ended up hanging out. And obviously, the Capricorn type couple was like, oh my God, this other couple's really wild. And this wild couple was like, yeah, guys, come on. And the wild couple was bringing all this chaos into their vacation. But then every single time, the chaos would work out in everyone's favor. And what it showed the Capricorn couple at the end is they ended up asking the wild couples, how do you have so much chaos in your life and you stay so calm and then it all works out? And the guy of the wild couple, he used to be in the army, and he said, yeah, well, one thing that I learned in the army is that you just have to float. I would be with all of the different soldiers and we'd be dumped into the ocean where you could die, and they'd be going crazy trying to get to the shore, try to get to safety, and I would just float and allow the riptide to take me. And I would always get there, and everyone else would either like be seriously injured or something would happen, but he would get there every time because he would just float. He had a mission, he made the steps, and then he floated. He took action on the mission and he floated. That is true in the highest expression of Capricorn energy. If you ask any business owner, for example, I've heard this from so many different really high level business owners, people who have owned a business for a long time, who are very successful, that one of the biggest lessons they have learned is that they don't need to solve every problem that comes their way. And that, in fact, if they're told a problem one day, they'll give it till the next day and not do anything, because normally the problem is resolved without them having to do anything. I actually just tried that out this weekend. Me and Ryan have a person to come clean our house once a month because I don't want to deep clean my house once a month. And it was like kind of complicated to schedule her, and she wanted me to call her on Saturday, and no part of me wanted to. I was just like, can't we just figure this out through text? Like, I don't want to call you. I've been feeling very introverted. And so I was like, I'm just not going to call her and we'll figure it out. And then the next day, she ends up texting me with like the perfect date and time she could come. And it worked out. I literally didn't have to call her. I didn't have to go against my energy and overextend myself. I could flow with it and trust. And then that happened. Now, one of the other lowest vibrations of Capricorn energy that can cause blocks is our inner critic is so loud that we don't do anything. That is not the same thing as the trust I'm talking about in the highest expression of Capricorn energy. Because the trust I'm talking about in the highest expression of Capricorn energy isn't coming from an inner critic. You're not just not doing anything because you're hard on yourselves, or it's too hard, or you don't know what to do, or blah, blah, any reason you have. Comparing yourself to other people, it's because they have this. It's another low vibe of Capricorn, comparing ourselves to other people. The highest expression of Capricorn energy, the thing that allows flow and the trust within the structure as you go about reaching your goals, is love, is devotion. It's not shitting on yourself. Like the example I just gave with the cleaning lady, I had no energy to talk on the phone with someone that day. I wasn't shitting on myself about not talking to her about on the phone. I wasn't shitting on her for needing to talk to me on the phone. I literally was just like, the most loving thing right now is to just leave this alone for me and for me to not do anything. And then the next day she messaged me and had the perfect date and time. So do you see what I'm saying? Devotion is the key in your life. How can you be devoted to your health? How can you be devoted in your relationship, in your career? And it's going to be a process. It's likely going to require you swinging to the other side of really going into what would be most loving for myself in every moment of the day. Pisces is also the unknown. Part of trusting within building a structure, building a legacy, is allowing the unknown to bring magic to you, allowing the unknown to show you the best path, not controlling every step as you reach your goals. That was the shadow side of Pluto and Capricorn. And remember, I said we're going into the gifts. We're learning that we actually build from trust and love and responsibility, but it's devotion, responsibility. It's because you want to. I want to do nice things for Ryan. I don't feel obligated to. I want to make him sourdough. I want to make his dinner. I want to clean the house. I want to do things for him. And sometimes when I'm so tired and I'm on my last string, I will tell him I can't make dinner for you. And the thing is he doesn't want me to overextend myself either. Because here's the thing, like calls to like. When we overextend ourselves and we act out in our life from having overextended ourselves, then we usually feel exhausted, and whatever we put out is from an energy of exhaustion, and then it just doesn't land for people. Like attracts like. So this Capricorn season, I want you to contemplate this episode. How can you move into devotion, and where are you in discipline? And I have something for you. So I'm going to help you with this. I have a workshop, which I'm so freaking excited for. And it came out of me being devoted to myself and my business. I took a week off in my business, or I did less in my business. And I told everyone because I just didn't have the energy for it. And then Boom! The first workshop idea I've had in like 4 months came smacking me so hard in the face of the gym that I cried, because this has been the thing that has transformed my life the most and brought so much ease and joy, is learning how to go from discipline to devotion. So I'm going to teach you how Capricorn energy plays out in your specific chart in my workshop. And then I'm going to teach you how to go from discipline into devotion in your life, so that you can actually get to the highest expression of your Capricorn energy and how it works in your chart, so that you can get the most as go through this transition over these next few years. You can actually build a legacy that's not just from this cold, disciplined place, but it's aligned with your soul. It's aligned with love and ease and flow. That's what happens with Pisces. Saturn and Pisces right now. Remember, Saturn rules Capricorn. It's all tied in. Pisces' power is its flow. And Saturn in Pisces is teaching us how to bring flow into reaching our goals right now, because that is the way of the future. That is the way you are going to align with the highest expression of your birth chart and the highest expression of you in what you have to give to humanity. It's not a conscious thing. Pisces energy is your subconscious. There's stuff going on that you can't see. There's a new life building for you, and you can't possibly think about it because you only have a mind that's based on your past life. And so that's why surrender is so important and devotion is so important. We ebb and flow with life. We don't stay disciplined with it. We stay committed to it. So if you want to join that workshop, it is $40. It's going to be 2 hours on January 12th. If you're in the Cosmic Co-Creatrix, you get 50% off. So I'll also put the link to join the Cosmic Co-Creatrix down below. And then if you want to get the workshop in addition to that, you'll get 50% off the workshop. And that is what I have to say for this week. The sun moves into Capricorn on December 2nd, and that's going to be a time when you're really going to get to anchor into this energy and explore this energy. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for you, and I'll see you on the next episode.